My name is Alex Omapayos. I'm the founder and artistic director of IROKO Theatre Company. I am from Nigeria. So, as a company, since 1996, when the IROKO was formed, the company has evolved, all the time, trying to respond, to the demand and needs of the community. In relation to the project Speaking Without Voice, Speaking Without Voice, as the name symbolizes, is a project that actually was looking into Nigerian, specifically Nigerian nonverbal communication as systems. I was inspired to design the project just listening to young people in Dagenham. It was a church event I was invited to, and I saw these young people who were using beatboxing, to simulate talking drumming, and that was how I went to them and I asked them if any of them could play the talking drum. It was in Dagenham, and all of them said no. None of them plays the talking drum. I left that event. And I became inspired that somehow the tradition of talking drumming itself may be dying. But here are young people in the West who are using beatboxing to simulate talking drumming. Then the question is, what can we do to preserve talking drumming? And that was how the idea of, running a project that will enable people to learn about talking drum came into my head. And I discussed the proposal with the then Heritage Lottery Fund. They are now called National Lottery Heritage Fund. And they liked the idea, but suggested that this is not a project only for young people, because they had a program which used to be called Young Roots. That what I'm discussing looks like a big project. I should go back and probably redesign and think more about the project. And that was how we sat in this office, and we came up with the idea that, all right, there are other Nigerian nonverbal communication means. What are they? And that was how we started looking into Nsibidi, from the Igbo people, Nsibidi symbols. That's how we were looking at Uli, we thought about the Yoruba Aroko. These are all forms, including the talking drum. These are all forms of nonverbal communication that predates the colonial times. And that was how we designed the project and carried out a research program that enabled us to dig more into the symbols.
And I think culturally we share a great deal. Unfortunately, it's a result of post-colonial experience. Europeans generally tend to look down on Africans as being somehow at a cultural disadvantage. I don't think that's true, and I think today's been a good indication of one of the reasons that that's not true.
Aroko's been doing a lot. They took us to Liverpool, which was a wonderful thing. And today they've laid up this event for us to come and learn about all these expressions and arts.
The work is good. They're doing a good job bringing the tradition, the ethnicity of Africa comes through in what they teach, and especially to the present generation, and maybe even my age. There's so many of us who are not aware of these symbols.
Chike Azonye is I think the vice president of the Nigerian Art Society UK. When we were designing the Speaking Without Voice project, we were looking for partners, and the more we looked into the symbols, the more we became aware that there must be Nigerians artists who know about the symbols. And that was how we sought out the Nigerian Arts Society UK we discussed our proposal with them. They liked our idea about what we want to do to raise awareness about these Nigerian symbols that have been forgotten. And then they came on board, and luckily, one of the practitioners, especially who uses Nsibidi mostly in his work, is Chike Azonye. So as an artist, he uses these symbols a lot. And that was how he was assigned to us as someone who would work well in this project. And yes, he has been very, very, very instrumental, not only in designing the logo, the project logo. We sat here in this office, brainstorm with ideas. Yes, he's one of a very, very good partner and supporter of the Speaking Without Voice project, and we are very, very grateful for his contribution.
My name is Chike Azonye. I am the Vice President of Nigerian Art Society UK. The IROKO Theatre approached us to be part of Speaking Without Voice, and then we decided to collaborate with IROKO on this wonderful project. Right from the designing of the logo to designing workshops. Of course, we have had about 3 workshops now. And so far, we have enjoyed working with this group, where we have looked at different symbols. Aroko, symbol from Yoruba, the Nsibidi, which is from the Ekpe cult of the Eastern Nigeria. And we also looked at Uli symbols, and how we were able to use these symbols to as a means of communication from one person to another, from one group to another, and which eventually culminated in having the groups doing some artwork based on those symbols. So it's been very, very successful, and I'm happy to be part of this project. And I will say thank you to IROKO for this collaboration with Nigerian Art Society UK, and to their partners for making it possible for us to be part of the project. So thank you.
In respect of Richard Olatunde Baker, it's a very, very interesting collaboration, because I was particularly drawn to him because of how he has gone out of his way to learn talking drum, the talking drumming. He went out of his way. Most people don't know that, his mother is Nigerian, the father is English. Like he used to tell me how he would leave his house to go to Peckham, going to all these Nigerian parties. He was just fascinated by talking drumming. So in a way, Richard actually represented, those young people, in Britain who were seeking one form of identity, which they found in talking drumming. So, and him now, not just having learned how to teach talking drum, he makes talking drum himself, right? And he is one of the best tutors in African drumming generally, and of course talking drum here now in London.
Omele is actually the roll of the drum, and it plays support.
Very easy to work with, all along ideas. He himself was a teacher in secondary school, so he has a lot of interesting and unique qualities. So I couldn't hesitate 1 second, to bring him into the project, and yes, he has been delivering the talking drumming workshop throughout all the community sharing days we had, or teaching it in schools. And secondly, he's a trained music engineer. So when we were training young people on music editing and recording, skills, he was the one. We went into a professional studio. He was the recording engineer throughout the day, who worked with the young people, and the feedback from the young people, what they learned in the 2-3 days we worked with them, was immense. Yes, Richard has been very, very instrumental, to the success of the Speaking Without Voice project.
Hi, I'm Richard Olatunde Baker. I'm working with Aroko at the moment on this wonderful Speaking Without Voice project, and for the last couple of days we've been in the recording studio with 7 or 8 young people, training them in music technology, but also integrating that with the use of the talking drum and how to record talking drum. We've built a track, we've got some lyrics that are relevant to the theme as well, and generally sort of built a really good rapport with these kids, and they've learned a lot about how you put a recording together right from the beginning, on how to use the mixing desk, how to build beats on the sequencer, and integrating that with a live recording as well.
Should I just make solo and then you play it? Without your voice, but making noise, speaking without voice.
Aroko is really giving something to the community as well, because one of the things that features has been some of the uses of the phrases in the talking drum, the Yoruba talking drum, that are used in UK. So the sort of the UK elements, and how the talking drum is being used today in a relevant way to this particular society outside of Nigeria, and the kids latched onto that as well. So we put that into the vocals, into the lyrics, and it's been really rewarding. I got a lot out of it. I've taught music technology for many years anyway, but this was a very special way of doing it, and they definitely got a lot out of it as well. It's been really great.
When we were designing the project, not only did we want people, to learn the heritage itself, we also thought about somebody who could learn, from me, in a way, somebody who can maybe learning something from what we have done over the past years, and also a young person who possibly could remain with Aroko and support us. So we designed the program in a way that we will have a trainee heritage support officer. So Kate actually is a trainee, undershadowing me, but I must tell you that we have been so lucky in the recruitment, because Kate, it's not just about you getting a job, it's you having an interest, and this is what Kate has brought into IROKO Theatre Company and into the Speaking Without Voice project. She has an interest not only to learn, she has an interest in the heritage. Everything is fascinating to her, and she is there all the time, wanting to learn, wanting to do new things. I can't talk to Kate as somebody who is like just administration. No, this person has been so instrumental in helping us to push the heritage program forward.
My name is Kate Kelso. I'm the Trainee Heritage Support Officer with Aroko Theatre. I was employed to work on Speaking Without Voice, which is a National Lottery Heritage funded project starting in February of last year. I was attracted to the role mainly. I'd just finished my history MA and I was looking for a job that would allow me to pursue my interest in history but in a community context. One facet of the Speaking Without Voice project is that we wanted to take a group of people from within the community up to Liverpool's International Slavery Museum for the day. It was a lot of organising to get that to come together. We collaborated with the staff at the museum itself, as well as a curator from the World Museum in Liverpool and a community leader within Liverpool, so that there'd be a sort of like expert angle for the participants who came up with us. It was a particularly enjoyable aspect of the project, just because a lot of work went into making it happen, and I think that it was a really enjoyable day for everybody involved. It was very poignant and powerful. We went specifically to see the Igbo compound, so that gave people a very tangible insight into the heritage which Speaking Without Voice is investigating. But then we obviously had longer, so people were able to look throughout the whole museum, which is a very harrowing but very powerful museum and heritage spot. I'd say that one of the main things that I've gained from working with Aroko is the holistic element of working on a project and seeing it through from start to finish, seeing all the different elements and collaborations that go into that, the partnerships that need to be built and strengthened, everything from the administration to like small details that make things work on a day, and how those all intersect has been really valuable. Working on Speaking Without Voice has been a huge learning experience for me, in that I studied Middle Eastern history. I didn't know a lot about African history previously. I was interested in the kind of the British imperial overlap with this history and how they had suppressed many of these systems that we were looking into.
So one of the outcomes I designed was actually to use theater, musical theater, as a way of, sharing the heritage with the general public. So in doing this, after compiling all the research materials, I had to take, weeks, read through them and so on. And in the process, I wrote the script, A Present for the Women of Uli.
The head and the talking drum symbolize non-verbal communication, or speaking without voice. Okay? Then the two cowrie beads in the middle, when they're facing each other, they're a symbol of unity and agreement.
Hello, my name is Juwon Ogungbe. I'm a composer and singer, and I worked with IROKO Theatre Company on the production called A Present for the Women of Uli. I was inspired to write 2 songs for the production. One of them was called I See You, I Hear You, and the other was called That's What We Dreamed Of. I See You, I Hear You was inspired by a situation in the narrative where the mother and the son in the story were not getting along. They had a misunderstanding based on the fact that the son was, interested in all these like symbols, non-verbal forms of communication. So the song was written as a means of like bringing about a sort of reconciliation.
Every day, rain or shine, you've given me love. I see you, mama, I hear you, mama. Now I'm old enough to see the value of all the sacrifice sacrifices you made for me. I see you, Mama, I hear you, Mama.
Pleasing work, living time, could it be for rosy visions of who we were to be? High regard from our folks across the seas. That's what we dreamed of, your father and me.
We performed this throughout, just before the COVID. We performed it in a number of community settings across different geographical areas in London. And the feedback has been immense. It's been wonderful, for people. One of the things that kept coming out was the fact that it is the son who is teaching the mom about the heritage, because the story is that the mom doesn't want the son to have anything to do with the Nigerian heritage, So when the son said to the mom, I'm doing this, I'm learning how to play the talking drum, the mom was aghast, because she saw talking drum, especially drums like the bata drum, the mom saying that they are used for juju worshipping. How can you go and be doing that? Saying to the son that the friend who he is following is a riffraff who only plays talking drum at parties.
You see? All these drums, I know them, Olabisi. I know these drums very well. They are used by idol worshippers. Those that worship Juju, they are used to worship Shango, Obatala, Eshu. Hey!
So he wasn't interested in what the mother was saying. He has gone out of his own way to go and find the heritage, and the mother wasn't amused. But in the process, he was the one who is now teaching the mom about their common heritage, which the mom herself, in a way, has forgotten or had refused to recognize. So, this is what we did. Just using this laugh. It's full of fun, it's full of joke, it's full of music. You sit down, you're laughing, but at the same time, somehow, something is going on here. That is it.
Listen to words embedded in the mystical sound of Oja. The wisdom carved into signs and symbols. Shh. Learn the meaning buried in Nsibidi, Uli, not forgetting the Yoruba Aroko. They are the signs of our ancestors.
Do you remember when I went to Liverpool a few weeks ago? I went to the Igbo compound at the Slavery Museum.
Igbo compound at the Slavery Museum in Liverpool?
Yes, Mom. The compound is decorated with beautiful and meaningful Uli and Nsibidi symbols, Mom. Look at this. This is a lizard. And
is what? The lizard?
Yes, Mom. And it means a lot to me because it reminds me of you.
Olabisi, you mean you went all the way to Liverpool to see a lizard and it reminds you of me?
There's a free resource pack available for you to download from our project page. Who knows what you can create when you make the art in your own time and space?
Recently, through this Speaking Without Voice, we didn't know that somebody all the way from Qatar was logged in, was part of the audience. The following Monday, I got an email from Qatar. They want, how can they bring us, what could we do? What sort of content can we provide for them? Because in their school, they want to teach African, art and culture. So it is this type of idea, this type of vision I have for Iroko, that Iroko is not just here in London or in England. Iroko can be everywhere, all over the world. Iroko International, especially these days that things are now, a lot of things are being done online. A lot of things. We're holding storytelling workshop online at the moment, rolling drumming workshop online, doing dance workshop online, performances online. So I think one thing that COVID-19 has done is to open another possibilities, a possibility that we had never once thought about, the new ways of doing things.
Speaking without voice, without your voice, but making noise. Speaking without voice, without your voice, but making noise. Oh, 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 yeah, yeah. Speaking without voice, without your voice, but